drain us dry, bleed us of every last penny, and then they've got no use for us. Far as I'm concerned, we should get packing. I massaged my dizzy cranium. We're lucky those heartless bastards saw an opportunity to let us land at all, else we would have starved with our supply shortage. Yippee. You're going to try to convince them to spare us. It's about time we've gotten one act of kindness. For all those Federation pricks accused us of being devoid of empathy, sometimes it seems like we're the only ones with an ounce of it. Hathaway sighed. Life at 1% is starting to feel real, like you said. Let's not disrespect the people who gave up everything to send us here. I carry on because my parents sacrificed themselves so I could get on this ship. My mother had health issues, and the UN limited passenger slots to only those who could bear children and were in good health. Had to pick and choose to ensure the healthiest progenitors. My dad stayed behind with her, but they both wanted me to survive. I remember when they wished me goodbye. Their faces are shadows and figments now, but I can hear their voices in my head. Charisse raised her eyes. What are they saying, Taylor? That they'd be proud of me, no matter what came next. That they'd look down on me, and they wanted me to be happy. I don't think this was what they dreamed for me. I wonder what all the people from Earth are thinking, if they're watching from some kind of afterlife. I think they're thinking that you're going to talk the Krev into taking their heads out of their asses. That if anyone's got this, it's you, even all banged up and beaten. The mayor nodded. I agree with her. I wish we had more time to strategize, but you've got to get going to the lift before Gress gets here. Don't want him getting restless legs. You need anything, or Taylor's unwell, you call me, Benson. Understood. Off we go, buzz cut. One foot in front of the other, I'm right here. I limped out of the medical clinic past a few other patients lying in recovery. My mouth felt numb and dehydrated as the balloon expanding within my skull beat me up. Dr. Adebayo strolled back out of the operating suite and began chasing me with alarm. The mayor stepped in, running interference on her as she attempted to contain me. My steps quickened with determination, though the vertigo made my balance a bit precarious. Aches and pains plagued me across my body. I imagined it worsen from any exertion, but I was willing to sacrifice myself. If my parents had the strength to send off their only child so he could survive, I could be strong enough to face Gress. One gesture of genuine nobility. Gress wasn't very understanding about that 3-day buffer. How can we expect him to give us an indefinite hiatus after a previous extension? It's clear that the Krev can't stand us and don't care about our problems. I didn't see an angle to stand on. Charisse brought me a change of clothes, something more suitable for the outdoors than my hospital gown. My eyes roved across the common area, where studio apartments much like my own were cut into the rock face, and I inhaled the scent of burning meat for what might be the last time. We hid the lab-grown meat factories underground, deep in the bunker's recesses. We couldn't have the Krev getting wind that we were flesh-eaters. There were a handful of restaurants cut into the shop alcoves in the center pillar, which divided the walking space like a chunky median. They were devoted to keeping the culinary delights of Earth alive, a small taste of home and our cultures. Charisse's uncle worked at the bistro pub, a place I really wished I could collapse and get a drink right about now. My head was swimming in nausea, and it was all I could do not to keel over right here. It felt as though I had jogged a marathon, despite how I'd barely stepped outside the med clinic. I needed some kind of injection of energy. My thoughts harkened back to the hatred for the Krev and for my part in the entire disaster that forced us into this predicament. My steps became more sure-footed as I staggered to the elevator. Charisse presented 2 masks with keys bound around them. How many times have we done this together, Taylor? Too fucking many, I sighed. If this is the last time we take this ride together, humanity probably got a few extra years on this planet because of you. Some things just aren't meant to be. Slim comfort. At least we don't have to lie to the miners now. There's no ore to be given to anyone. We'll see if Gress can get that through his thick skull. I managed to place the cloth mask over Charisse's head. Before she fitted mine into place, it concealed our eyes, but normally we could see through it. Right now, I felt like it was suffocating me, just like the sand that poured from the cavern had done. Darkening the harsh light that was searing my brain should have been a welcome reprieve, but it was difficult to make out anything through any interference. None of my moment-to-moment existence felt right, beyond the standard resentment of having to hide my eyes from the watching clouds. I wondered what the doctor had diagnosed me with. The security guard locked my mask and stuffed the key in her pocket. I mirrored her actions, recognizing that there was no going back now. It was no further to the landing pad than it was to turn around and stagger back to the medical clinic. That would just leave me moping in bed, feeling powerless over what the Krev would do, more than I already did. If I couldn't stay upright for a few minutes with humanity's future on the line, then what kind of person was I? With trembling fingers, I twisted the key back into the guard's mask. I managed to pick up the secondary fabric left for my use and wrap it around my own skull half-heartedly. It partially blocked my view due to my poor placement. Charisse gave me a concerned head tilt before grabbing a cane from the control room. Here, this belongs to Miss Cortez, but I don't think she'll miss it for a few minutes. I still don't think you should be going up there. If you're going to, you should use this, something to lean on. I accepted the walking aid with a sigh. I thought that something was you. At that point, I might as well carry you on my back. Imagine what Gress will think at that sight. I'd love for Gress to make a comment so I can whack that smug look off his face. Please, let's get going. I don't have much left in the tank. All right, Taylor, just take it easy. Talking isn't my game, but I'll jump in to help you if needed. I can handle the talking. It's getting up there that's the problem. Come on. Charisse signaled to the control room, and our watchers unsealed the barrier to the elevator without hesitation. I took several deep breaths as the lift came to our call. The upward motion immediately intensified my disorientation, and my hands clamped around the cane. What was I going to say to Gress, beyond a desperate plea, as Mayor Hathaway had advised me? I couldn't let aliens send us packing again after everything we'd built here. Humanity was here on this planet to stay, if there was anything I could do about it. I wasn't taking The Nature of Predators, 2-8, memory transcription subject, Taylor Trench, date standardized human time, March 16th, 20. The sunlight from above compounded my headache as I tried to think of what